We apologize for interrupting the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race from Bristol, but we are here today in Huntersville, North Carolina at the Joe Gibbs Racing headquarters for a very special press conference. Ever since Tony Stewart announced he would leave to go to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2009, it has been asked who will fill the seat of the 20 car. Well, that answer comes here today at the Joe Gibbs Racing headquarters, and it has been widely speculated that it will be young phenom Joey Logano. Only 18 years old, he's already a winner in the Nationwide Series, and his own camp calls him the best thing since sliced bread. Also here today, we are expecting to hear about the sponsor for the 20 team and also the crew chief. Many people expected to speak here today. The car will also be unveiled, but so much to talk about, so much that we will learn here today in this press conference. But as I said, Joey Logano expected to be named as the driver of the Joe Gibbs Racing Home Depot number 20 car. We'll join the folks on stage. We'll turn it over to J.D. Gibbs. Everybody getting assembled on stage here. J.D. Gibbs, Greg Zipadelli, Joey Logano, Joe Gibbs himself, the former NFL Washington Redskins coach. But as we said, it is a big announcement here today. And here's J.D. Gibbs.
Everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing, how much we appreciate you guys coming out. And just appreciate, obviously the interest around our future driver and the patience with this as we kind of went through this process. Picking out and announcing who our guy is going to be. So, obviously, we kind of want to start it with just an appreciation to the Home Depot, an amazing history we've had really over the past 10 years, how much they stood behind us, supported us. I think the success we had on the track with the championships and the race wins and the success off the track for the Home Depot and all their 320,000 associates. We couldn't be more proud of that relationship. And man, we sure look forward, thankfully, to that continuing, and we'll share a little bit about that. At this time, what I'd like to do is bring up the Senior VP and Chief Marketing Officer at the Home Depot, Frank Bifolco. Frank, why don't you come on up, man?
Coach, thank you very much.
Welcome, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. This is, hopefully my feet will reach the ground here. Thank you, JD, for that introduction. I can only tell all of you that this is an exciting day for the Home Depot. Just about a little over 10 years ago, we made our first foray into the great sport of NASCAR and associated ourselves with certainly a winning team, Joe Gibbs Racing, and a winning driver, Tony Stewart. And over that 10 years, that association delivered, 2 championships and 22 wins, and we couldn't be more proud of that. That said, Tony's moving on, and we wish him continued success. And we're extremely delighted to be maintaining our association with what we think is one of the most professionally run organizations in racing, Joe Gibbs Racing. Not only that, but now we feel we'll be associated with a driver that's joining this team to help us usher in the next era of winning for Joe Gibbs Racing and the Home Depot, and that's Joey Logano. We're delighted to have him. We feel he's not only a skilled driver already at the ripe old age of 18, but he exudes the values and the principles and the integrity that we certainly believe in as a brand and a business. And so when I look at now Joe Gibbs Racing with Joey Logano and the Home Depot, we're extremely delighted and gratified to continue with our NASCAR association and participation in a sport that at the end of the day helps us more strongly connect to our customers. And at the end of the day, that's all what it's about for us. And not only our customers, but to JD's point, our 320,000 associates who quite candidly get inspired when they know that we're with a winning team like Joe Gibbs Racing and now with a winning driver, Joey Logano. So thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks to Joey and thanks to Coach and JD here for enabling us to continue an association that we think is going to be one of the most winning ones out there in the sport.
Great, Frank. We sure appreciate that and look forward to it. At this time, let me, without any further ado, bring up, we think, a great driver who in the brief history with this past 3 years has shown consistently on the track and off he has what it takes to be a driver, competitive at the cup level for years to come. And so we look forward to winning many championships and races together with the Home Depot team. and our newest driver, Joey Logano. Joey, why don't you come on out, man? Come on, boy.
All right, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, bro. Good to see you, bro.
Well, I definitely couldn't be more excited to be here today and jumping in this 20 car. You know, it's been a dream come true. You know, always watching this car, watching Greg Zipp and all the guys working, and Tony working on the thing, and couldn't be more excited getting in a car like this. And then representing Home Depot and over 300,000 associates, couldn't really ask for anything better. So looking forward to working with all the guys. You know, Kyle and Denny are awesome guys to work with, so that'll be real neat. And then working with Joe and JD like we have been for 3 years. Hopefully we can continue success here at the 20 car.
At this point, too, the last guy I'd like to bring up on stage is really our leader of the Home Depot team, is Greg Zippadilli. Greg, come on up here, man.
The moment you all been waiting for, huh? No, we're for myself and the rest of the guys are extremely excited to be with Home Depot for a number of years to come. Joey for a number of years to come, and as far as I know, I still have a job, so that's a good thing. So, no, we're excited about starting over. We've had a great 10 years. We've got some pretty good stats to set our goals at right now, and we'll use that for our motivating tools in the future. So we've got to win at least 3 next year. We've got to tie what we did in '99. But no, so like I said, I'm excited. It's exciting to start over. It's a burst of energy for myself and everybody in this team, and we're looking forward to the future.
Great.
I just wanted to add on to just getting the team together for the first time. It's great having Frank here and everybody else from Home Depot. And for us, I think back, first of all, to Home Depot and our relationship. I still remember going down, having our first meetings, and I got to tell you that the first kickoff that we had on introduction for the race team, it was up in Connecticut someplace. I landed out in the middle, I don't know where, and we got down to where everybody was, and they had them sequestered at that place where they did the movie The Shining. I mean, there's no phones, there's no nothing. Man, we go in there, and there's like 400 of these guys that are obviously leading Home Depot in that part of the country. And so we sat down that night and we put the video up on the screen. And I come from a football background, but I'm also used to businesses and the way businesses react to things. And so I figured, hey, it's a business, it's a business relationship here. And that thing hit the screen, and those guys, it became obvious what they were doing. We're kicking off a racing program. These guys went ballistic. They're standing up on top of the chairs. Man, I'm kind of going like this, and they're going, give me an H, H. And man, we start down through Home Depot, and they are cheering and screaming. And I said, I felt right home with these guys. They're gung-ho, they're ready to go, and they were thrilled about being in racing. Now, having said that, you fast forward and think about this. It's so hard, as everybody knows here, your relationships, and I look at it just like that. A lot of people say, well, it's business. I think it has nothing to do. Obviously, there's a business side of it. But I think this is relationships. And it's certainly been, I think, one of the most exciting things for me. And the thing I love about motorsports over here and NASCAR is the relationship you do build with the sponsor. It's been something that's been exciting for us. I've got to know many of the people there inside of Home Depot. As you get to speak, tour the country, go to hospitalities, get a chance to meet them over a period of time, it's been, I think that's one of the things that, for me, is the most exciting about our sport. And having said that, also, from Arthur and Bernie on the first contract, and then we turned around and came back and had a situation with Tony, where we had to re-sign Tony. And I'm not sure that how many companies in a period of about 2 weeks stepped up and redid a contract with us so that we could re-sign Tony. And so you see from that side of it, Home Depot has been one of the great partners that you could have. And then, of course, from our side, I think at different times we go through different things where we've had, going through a downturn in business like it is right now, us trying to do our part And so what's happened over a period of time there for 10 years, I think we developed one of the great relationships, I think, in sports and in the business world. And I think it's truly that. I think if we have problems, I think I could go down and sit down with Frank, talk with him. Certainly I feel like at different times they can come up here and sit down and talk with us. I had to laugh when we finished the contract. I told him I had to go to the hospital. They beat us up so bad that we wound up. That's a joke. That's a joke. You got to tell these guys it's a joke.
It's a joke.
They'll get it. But in any case, it was when you go through a tough business environment like this. If you stop and think about it for a minute, we have a chance with this long-term contract to be in one of the longest running relationships with a first-class, top-flight company like Home Depot. It's a thrill for us. Having said that, I think for Joey also, and Zippy will tell you this, Zippy's probably been in 30 different advertisements at different times. We got him down doing, he's become a movie star. But what happens when you can have a relationship with somebody like Home Depot, they have made a commitment to obviously go forward. They got commercials they're running nonstop, and it'll be a chance for Joey to be with a sponsor. There'll be solidity behind him. It's out there doing everything they can to promote, obviously, Home Depot. And it's going to be his responsibility to help sell everything that Home Depot has in there. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you can't saw, nail, or whatever it is. Get going, will you? But he's going to have to be that person up front that's getting that done for them. And so as we embark on this, I just wanted to say personally that it's one of the real thrills for me. It's one of the three real thrills, and that's the way we look at it here. We feel like we're representing all those people. 320,000 people that Joey automatically gets as fans for him. When I go in the stores, whether it's here or someplace else, you hear everybody yelling at you and cheering for you. And it's a thrill for us to be representing Home Depot. We're looking forward to this going forward, and we hope with this relationship, I honestly said this, think about it, this could be a record setter. Because I told them that Home Depot could be the first company maybe ever in a sport with Tony going 10 years and maybe Joey having 20 years. They could go 30 years without having but one driver change. That's our hope. So as we go forward, now they may change the owner 2 or 3 times, but we can hopefully look forward to a long-term relationship. We thank all of you for being here, and we're excited about this as we go forward. I know Zippy, we lean a lot on Zippy. And as you guys know, that means so much to that driver. And Zippy's relationship with Tony, every now and then I worried at the racetrack because they go after each other so hard I go, oh my gosh. But I think what we got here is a seasoned veteran too, and Joey knows this. And as we talk to Tom and the family, they know they're getting one of the top flight guys in the sport that we think is the absolute best. He is the crew chief and coach is the way I look at it of this race team. He directs things. He's been nothing but for us first-class top flight. He puts everything he's got into it. So Joey, I think from that standpoint too, you're getting one of the great sponsors in the world, and you're getting also, we think, somebody that's one of the great crew chiefs and somebody to direct the program. We're going to do everything we can to make this relationship the best that we can make it. So we appreciate all of you being here and kicking off a big day for us at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Questions from anybody?
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Can you talk about the terms of the contract? How long is it, and when did this all come together? And also, when did you decide to put him in the Home Depot car instead of perhaps finding a more mature driver for that demographic?
I think for us, first you got to be careful what you mean by maturity. There's experience and maturity. I think for him being 18, he's already more mature than most guys out there. I think from an experience standpoint, I think we really felt, we were real careful from day one. We didn't want to rush him. He's been here 3 years. If it took him 3 more years to get the Cup, that's fine. I think the reality of it is when you watch everything he did in each series he was in, running last year, winning the championship with us there, and then really watching him test with our guys. When you send Zippy and his crew to test with them, I think what you saw is a guy who's the talent's there. Now we'll have to work with them. There's a lot of stuff I'm not worried about the on-track stuff as just much of the off-track stuff. That's a lot required of a young man, to be doing all that. But I think with his family surrounding him and our guys here, I think we'll be in good shape. And we'll just say as far as the length, it's a multi-year agreement, and we'll kind of leave it at that for now, but we're excited about that.
David Poole, Charlotte Observer. Joey, there's been a lot of questions, and everywhere we go the last couple of months, people have been asking, is it okay for them to put you in this car because you're only 18? Obviously the question for you is, would you, if you could have mapped it out, would you have rather spent 2 or 3 years knocking around in the Nationwide Series for less money with a middle-class team, or ride the 20 car in the Cup and make all that money and have Zipperdale as your crew chief and one of the best sponsors in the sport? I mean, come on.
Jumping in the 20 Nationwide car this year was a big step for me, in the beginning of the season. And it's like you said, you can jump with a great team, have a little more pressure to run up front, or you can run a middle to the back team, not have the pressure up front, but you're not going to win races. So I'm all about the pressure. I'm cool with pressure. And then, moving up to this car now, it's more pressure, but I can handle it. I think it's cool. When Tony left and then they brought my name up, that was really exciting for me, and especially as an 18-year-old kid. It's cool even have your name brought up, and then for it all to happen, and if we all work good, it's going to be really exciting.
On the background of that, we lean obviously heavily on Zippy. Zippy had been to a bunch of tests with Joey, and he had to compare him in the car with Tony, Joey, and everybody else is at the racetrack. And so we lean, first of all, heavily on Zippy, and I think Zippy from day one felt like Joey had the talent to get this done. But then we also had a meeting, and it was very revealing for me because Tom came over and Joey came over, and we were just going to discuss with them just that. Hey, what do you think about this? Do you think it's too quick? Would you rather spend more time? Would you rather have somebody that's a veteran, maybe splitting time with you, coaching you up? We discussed all that. And what was really revealing in that meeting, and Tom really started off, but then he said, I want Joey to tell you what he thinks. And the bottom line was, Joey said, hey, be quite truthful. Every minute you take away from me in the car, I think I would be gaining experience. He says, I don't think I would benefit from having somebody else coaching me up or in the car and splitting races. And it was real revealing for me and JD as we sat there and listened to him, because I think what it was, even though Joey's 18, real mature, this is what I think. I've thought a lot about this. This is what I want to do. And so that meant a lot to us. And I think we're all on the same page there. And it started with Zippy, but I think it went through all of us. And you're right. Those are big decisions, but that's how we reached it. And after that meeting, we walked out of there. I kind of went, hey, this guy, And of course, we were just embarking on some of our Nationwide stuff then. Then when you see him jump in Nationwide, do some of the things that he's done there. I think one of the other things I just add, and I don't want to butt in on this, but one of the other things is Denny. What happened with Denny? He kind of changed my whole idea on driving. We all know Denny was in late models. We put him in Nationwide, and then 3/4 of the way through the year, we took a shot and put him in the Cup car, right to the front. You know what I mean? And so that kind of changed my idea on a lot of things too, as far as experience. And I think Joey, for an 18-year-old, has got tons of experience. So.
Hey, can you talk about what you know as a talent?
Well, I mean, we I don't know, it was probably 3 years ago. We went to Kansas.
Yeah.
And did an ARCA test, and just took one of our cars and went up there. Me and Jimmy did for a couple days, and you could see right then he was just very, very consistent, hitting his marks, running the same lap times with the car that he had. I think the biggest thing, he's very open-minded. He's not afraid to move around. He'll take what he has and do the best with it. From what we've done so far, it's been a lot of fun. It's been, like I said before, energizing to start over, have to start thinking differently, having to react differently. I mean, obviously he's going to want and needs different things than what we're used to in a race car, because he's a different person, he's a different driver style. So, but overall, I think he's done a phenomenal job in everything we've asked him to do so far.
Claire B. Lang, XM Satellite Radio. Joey, a lot of people will be debating and commenting and writing about what you have to learn yet. What is it that you feel you have to learn yet at this stage? And also, Greg, if you could talk about how the team has to change to have a less experienced driver in the car, maybe a young guy that has different things to learn, different feedback and that sort of thing. So if you could start, Joey, on what you have to learn.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot I have to learn too, and I say it's a lot. Racing, there's a lot of little things that make it. So I mean, there's going to be little things every time I go to a racetrack. Still, I learn something. And I think I should be like that the rest of my career, even when I'm an old guy still racing. It's a long ways down the road, but as long as you're still learning stuff, I think that's good. Whether it's about the race car, about racing other cars, about a racetrack, anything. I think anytime you can learn something, it's going to be great. So I can't say there's one certain thing I'm going to have to learn more, but I think as long as I pick up something every time I go to the racetracks, it'll be great.
From our standpoint, as far as myself and my guys, the team, I think that we'll be able to help them with the distance of these races and the patience and those things. I think that's the part that you just have to go out and do and learn how hard you have to run at the beginning, know what you need at the end. And those will be some of the things that I think we'll be able to help them with, just from going to the racetrack and being through situations, knowing how the racetrack changes, what to expect. I mean, I think we can share those things with them to help them have an idea of what to expect throughout the day. I think of the biggest things, but I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be learning for both of us. Like Joey said, that's kind of what life's about,
Bob Pockris, NASCAR Scene for Joe or JD. When will his Cup debut be? How many races do you think he'll run this year in Cup? And will you run him in both Cup and Nationwide next year?
Yeah, really, for us, to kick off the season, we'll run them in an 02 Home Depot Camry at Richmond. That's going to be his first race of the year. And then we're going to also be running him in the same car at Atlanta. And then we're going to probably add in a few more races throughout the year. We're still in some discussions on that, but it looks like we'll probably put them, maybe team up with another team for a few races there and have our guys kind of work together in conjunction. And then next year, the plan is we're still going to run a full-on nationwide thing, or get as close to it as we can with Joey next year. And then hopefully, I just think that experience will be invaluable to gain running both those cars the same weekend. Talladega will be ARCA.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Going back to the deal, I understand multi-year, but does Joey have to sign something on top of the developmental deal he already has with you guys, and how does that work?
Yeah, no, originally, hey, when you're under 18, your parents have to sign for you. So we had Tom's life mortgaged before. Now he's 18. Joey actually signed his own life away. So he's hooked in for a long-term deal, and it's between us and Joey.
I know you don't release terms of the deal, but you say multi-year. I mean, can you give us a little bit more? Is it longer than normal, given his age and given that you guys want to keep him under contract and also want to show you that you have a commitment to his development?
Yeah, I would say it's probably longer than a normal one. Yeah, I apologize for being so vague. We're just right now. That's probably all we can really say. But he'll be here for a while, and hopefully a lot longer. My dad said 20 years. It's not a 20-year deal, but we're getting close.
We did have one problem. Tom wanted 25% of it. Joey got a little upset about that.
There were a lot of other big names available on the free agent market this year. Did you guys look at anybody at all, or did you know right away he was going to be the guy?
Again, I think for us, we really go back and lean a lot on Zippy and the guys, Jimmy Makar, a lot of our key guys, and they all felt across the board, we try not to make any decisions, unless everyone agrees this is the right way to go. And this one, everyone kind of agreed. There were other options, but I think for our long term, for what's the best interest of JGR, the Home Depot, and our whole team, Joey was the guy. So that was kind of decided, a little while ago, and those guys all are at peace with it, and we think it's the right decision.
It was a team, too. I mean, we took Home Depot through every step with us. They were right there with us. We were talking about, there were other options, but as we continue to work through this, we all kind of came to the same conclusion. And we kind of, as JD said, that's the way we do it. Everybody in here, from a racing standpoint, Zippy and everybody leading this show in here, and then with Home Depot, we kind of worked our way through it, and that was a clear-cut decision at the end.
Joe Manzer, NASCAR.com. Joey, everybody keeps telling us how mature you are. do you think you're mature, and do you still like to do a few immature things that like every 18-year-old does out there?
No, I feel I'm mature. You know, I've been racing my whole life, been doing this type of stuff my whole life, and then being associated with Joe Gibbs Racing the last 3 years is made me a lot more mature. You know, talking to the guys, hanging out with, you know, Zip, and doing a lot of that testing has helped me out a lot, you know, on and off the racetrack. So I feel that, you know, my family's also helped me, you know, mature as a teenager, and you know, I feel like I'm ready for it. And yeah, I do get time to be a kid, but, you know, what do? I go to a go-kart track or something with the rest of my friends. So it's not like I go out and do anything. You know, most of the time we're off on the road racing anyway, so I wouldn't ask for anything else besides that.
You're still
And
though, aren't you?
Yeah, I would have messed up big time over there.
you sure Zippy's helping you mature? Is that
Absolutely.
as a follow-up to that? Zippy mentioned, you know, I think jokingly matching, you know, what Tony did his first year
about that.
with three wins. What are both of you? What are your expectations for next year?
I mean, from my standpoint, I mean, obviously Tony had come in with a lot more racing experience.
And so there you have it. We know the outcome of who the driver will be in the number 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing next year. It will be Joey Logano. He has signed a multi-year deal with Joe Gibbs Racing. Greg Zipadelli will be his crew chief. Of course, he crew chief Tony Stewart to 2 championships in NASCAR's top series. And Home Depot has been involved with Joe Gibbs Racing for 10 years. Well, they're hoping for a lot more with Joey Gibbs, because they will be with Joey Logano on the side of the number 20 car for years to come. We'll join the Bristol race right now.